Here's a quick illustration of the benefits of using a log gamma curve. This particular example is from the f5 camera, but could equally come from something like the FS7. First we have a short clip recorded in S-Log2, which is looking, as you would expect, rather flat, low contrast, a little bit dull. I'm now going to open that clip in Catalyst Browse, which is a software package from Sony, free of charge, and you can see that we have various options available to us here. Here we're looking at the S-Log pictures in the Catalyst Browse software, and we have various options in the picture grading tab, where we can look at the existing gamma curve, which is S-Log2 with no lookup table applied, grading into a Rec 709 colour space, because that's the kind of monitor I'm using to look at the pictures. But one thing I can do is to change the lookup table to an ITU 709 type gamma curve, TV style gamma curve. And as soon as you do that, you can see that the pictures are badly overexposed. It's all gone a bit wrong here. So the original S-Log pictures, though it was holding on to most of the detail in the flat low contrast pictures, really should have been exposed considerably down, really. So when we apply that lookup table, we're seeing what we should have been able to see in the viewfinder if we'd used a proper lookup table in the viewfinder, which I obviously didn't. However, for the purposes of this illustration, it's quite a useful clip. So the next thing we might want to do is to basically correct that very poor exposure decision that we made at the front end. And I can simply grab hold of the exposure index bar and bring down the exposure to maybe 3 stops. And you can see how much detail is actually concealed behind that 709 lookup table. Once we've got the exposure roughly correct, there are numerous other controls available to us, including the flexibility to bend and shape the gamma curve in whatever way you fancy, really. You can crush the blacks and stretch the whites and anything in between. I'll just put the whites back where they started from, and maybe change the saturation, add a bit of saturation to the image. And then once you've finished tweaking your colorimetry and so on, you can save those settings as a preset, give the exposure index one last final tweak. When we've finished adjusting the colour, we want to go back to the logging page and transcode our material. In this particular case, I'm just going to transcode it to where it came from, basically XAVC. And if you hit the XAVC button there, it gives you various choices of the different codec options available to you, and basically just hit the button and export your piece into a preset file. So let's have a look at the final graded piece. I wouldn't pretend to be a colorist or anything like that, but it's relatively simple to make an obvious difference for something as simple as a bit of overexposure, as long as you've got all that latitude that lies behind the log type gamma curves. And there we have it, much nicer than the original.